Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to your Thursday edition of FSU Weather. We got our live look at Doak, where we can't really see the sun much this time. We got a little bit of sun's rays peeking out from the clouds, but we have a lot of clouds in the area, and this is going to indicate the type of weather we're going to see in the area tomorrow. We've got partly cloudy skies, and your wind is out of the south-southwest at 7. It's a really nice evening if you're taking a walk around campus, and if you're going home for spring break, it's a great evening to move your stuff outside. Your current temperatures are in the mid-70s area-wide, unless you're along the coast where you're at 67 degrees in Apalachicola. You've got a chilly breeze off the Gulf of Mexico right now with the sea breeze, so that's why you're a bit cooler. We don't have any precipitation area-wide. We've just got some ground clutter being shown on the radar. But right now, our headlines for tonight, we've scattered storms for Tallahassee tomorrow, maybe a few severe storms too. A big cold front Monday. We're going to talk about spring break destination forecasts and winter weather in the plains and the west. All this and more on FSU Weather.
Thank you, Nico, and that's right. Welcome to the Thursday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Aaron right here to guide you and open up this beautiful and magnificent Thursday show we have upcoming for all of you. But to start off, the weather headline, it's actually been a really warm one outside, as it's been for the past month or so, right? But we actually do have some cooler temperatures. What's that? Cooler temperatures in the forecast coming up for next week, as we do have that cold front that will come through the area. Of course, just in time for spring break, right? But eventually we will see those cooler temperatures come to the area. They'll bring the nice drier air. And actually today, speaking of dry air, today we actually were pretty dry outside too, despite the temperatures being pretty warm. You actually might have seen perhaps some of that smoke outside, that haziness, and that's because we had some prescribed wildfires out there, especially along Apalachicola National Forest there. So if you are susceptible to perhaps some breathing issues, and make sure you do take precautions for that. But otherwise, I should say, across the country, across the West Coast specifically, we do have still that winter storm occurring there with the atmospheric river bringing in snow for the Sierra Nevadas and also for the frontal ranges there too in California. And what that's doing is allowing for that cooler air, that snow to pack up. And we're actually way above average for that snow pack there in California, where I think I saw a few days ago on Twitter that they're like 200% above the normal for this time of year, at least for your date on average here in California. So that's pretty significant, of course, for this time of year. But Autumn, we're going to take things back closer to home. But Autumn, how does it look closer to home, of course, with that warm weather?
So it's looking pretty nice here in Tallahassee. It's pretty warm. We're noticing it's cooled down a lot, though, in these past few hours here in Tallahassee. We're seeing some partly cloudy skies, but we're able to see a glimpse of the sun setting over there to our west, creating some pinks and purple hues in the sky. Looks pretty beautiful. But as for in history, we're noticing that these days today, it's comparing with the highs and lows for the average. It's pretty similar. Our lows are a bit cooler than average. We're noticing it's a bit cooler today than it normally has been. Looks like in the 70s it was 87 today, so we thought it was hot these past few days. Well, in the past it's been a lot hotter, so we don't have too much to worry about. As for showers, here in Tallahassee and for the rest of Florida, we're not seeing too much rain today, which is pretty nice. That won't be coming till later on this weekend. Sadly, our neighbors up towards the north a little bit in Atlanta are getting some showers today, but that should clear out for them over the weekend. And then we have noticed some interference picking up on our radar lately today. We actually joked in here that maybe it's pollen. It could be some of those fires that are going on, but we shouldn't have too many showers here in Tallahassee, at least not right now. We see that this interference is stretching from here in Tallahassee up near Decatur County, Georgia. But again, that isn't rain as of right now. That rain for Georgia is more closer to Atlanta. Our current temperatures, we're noticing it's a bit cooler today than the last few days, which has been so nice and refreshing. It's not too cold though, so we're feeling some actual springtime temperatures, hitting 73 in Tallahassee, 75 in Monticello, and then up in Georgia, 72, 74. The dew points, we're noticing it's a pretty beautiful gradient here. We see the dark green fading into white, and that is because down here in the areas of Apalachicola, Bay and Panama City. It's a bit more humid as we go northeast near Valdosta by Brooks County, Georgia. We're seeing it gets a little bit drier as we go inland in that direction. We should probably not see too many storms over these outlooks here. We're spotting some gusty winds and possibly some hail in these areas, but nothing too serious. And then for as our future cast on Friday, tomorrow, we may see some clouds come through, but again, not too much rain, mostly just some wind gusts. That rain is going to stick up there in Georgia, so good luck to them. Get through the showers up near Brooks County, Georgia. Hope they make it through that, but it's nothing too serious. We'll see those bands pass through as we get through the weekend. And then our temperatures here in Tallahassee, it looks like it'll cool down to 49. Our rainfall in the future, we're not seeing too much. As I said, we have a lot of clouds, but not as much rain. Under an inch coming in through Saturday in Tallahassee, so we won't see too much, probably some scattered showers through there. And then as for tonight, our temperatures a little bit more as we progress through our night. So if your weekend is getting started early, you're going out today, maybe bring a sweater. It's going to creep around 62. It's definitely warmer down in Apalachicola Bay and Panama City. So if you're getting a head start on your spring break, heading down there, it's a little bit warm, but possibly not the best for a beach day. And then if you do plan on walking your dog tomorrow morning, definitely bring an umbrella. No matter where you are near here, it is going to have some showers, 30% chance of those showers coming through, and it will be a bit cool. So definitely bring a sweater, especially because we used to be being very hot lately. And then tomorrow for our local forecast, it's looking like it'll creep up, back warm again, 80, hopefully nothing too hot like we've seen these past few days. And as for our week ahead, over this weekend, tomorrow we'll definitely see some showers, but that should clear out this Saturday and Sunday. Becca, how is it looking for the rest of Florida?
The rest of Florida is seeing pretty similar things right now. Sunny for most of Florida, and again, we're looking at that rain not coming in until later this weekend for the rest of Florida. So that is something that we're definitely excited as we start spring break for us here at FSU starting tomorrow. Looking at the rest of Florida for these live cams, you can see more of the same story. We've got some clouds lingering, but we can see the sun and blue skies in all of those pictures. Satellite and radar right now is giving us a hint of what we can expect for the rest of the week. We have our warm front attached to that low pressure, fueling up some storms, but that's not what's going to cool us down. The cold front is eventually going to move through with the low over the week, and it's going to push through the entire peninsula, actually. South Florida right now is looking pretty clear, not too many clouds. A little bit further down towards Key West and Central Florida, a couple more clouds moving in, pushing down through the peninsula, but overall fairly clear. In North Florida, that's where we see a little bit more of the cloudiness. Again, those showers up towards Atlanta, but nothing for us just yet here in the Panhandle. Conditions are quite comfortable, sitting around the 70s with our highest being 79 in Tampa. This is honestly some of my favorite weather. Cool nights, warm days, not too muggy yet. This is my favorite time of year. It's a great time for everyone to experience Florida, especially the spring breakers. This is the temperature and the seasons that I love. So 70s along the entire peninsula. For our future radar, this is where you're going to see that rain move through with that cold front. You can see our marginal risk tomorrow is centered along the Panhandle and across actually into Jacksonville. Those are the storms that are giving us the marginal risk. Not looking at too many severes or very low end threat, but we could see some pop-up severes, and there's a small potential for hail. So definitely keep that in mind, especially for those traveling tomorrow. I know I'm traveling across I-10 tomorrow, so those storms might play into that. By Saturday, everything should move through. Those storms are going to bring some rain, not too much. We'll actually see the most here at home in Tallahassee with 0.74 inches, and then it decreases as we go down the peninsula. For our 3-day forecast, Miami is going to be beautiful as always. They're not going to take too much of a hit as that cold front goes through. We're sticking at the 80s, but you'll see they do have some rain chances. 84 on Saturday with that rain creeping in at 40%, so they could see some rain. Tampa is going to have a similar story. So sunny conditions. They don't have as much as a rain chance as the front is pushing east, and they will have wonderful conditions Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if you happen to be in the Gulf Coast. Orlando is going to be beautiful as well, 80s throughout the entire weekend. Jacksonville is going to have some of those storms, 70% tomorrow. That's when the front moves through. And Pensacola, we are looking at tomorrow for some storms, and then Sunday for storms as well. We're going to pass it off to Nico, and he's actually going to give us another little bit of a broader look.
Thank you, Becca. Yeah, we're going to have pretty nice weather for the weekend, but we do have to deal with some showers and storms tomorrow. But as we look around the southeast, we've got our sunny skies in Tampa and temperatures near 80. But as you go up into the northern part of the southeast, at Clemson, South Carolina, and Atlanta, Georgia, you're seeing a lot more clouds. You got the sun peeking out a little bit in Clemson. Atlanta has very low clouds right now. Doesn't look like a very nice evening to be out and about in Atlanta. And if you're in Charlotte, North Carolina, it looks like a much nicer evening here to be out and about with just some clouds in the background. But as you look at your current conditions around the southeast, here's where you can see Atlanta is 53 degrees and cloudy. That's why you're seeing those low clouds right now with the cold front coming south. But as you're south of the cold front and east of the cold front, you've got your temperatures in the 70s. Our hot spot right now, Tampa at 79 degrees, and New Orleans at 80, and Jackson, Mississippi at 81, where you have not been affected by the cold front yet. In our current dew points right now, you can see that we're having some muggy air in parts of the southeast. A 66-degree dew point in New Orleans, that's almost summer-like. 59-degree dew point in Tallahassee. We have a little bit of dry air here, but definitely not as dry as our 30-degree dew point in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. And here's where you've got your satellite and radar. You have a little bit of a warm front coming ahead of the cold front that will come through tomorrow. You have some showers and storms ahead of this front. And then you have the high pressure off to the east. That's been giving us the nice weather this week, and that's going to move and change as we get into tomorrow. And here you can see your upper level water vapor as well. This is all moving toward the southeast, and this is going to play into our forecast for tomorrow. As you can see right now, it's dry across much of Florida except for a few high clouds. That's going to change as we go into tomorrow, so definitely bring your umbrella as we go into tomorrow, and watch out for some isolated severe storms. We're not expecting an outbreak by any means, but you could definitely see damaging winds being the highest threat tomorrow, and maybe some hail along some isolated storms as the line of storms comes through in the afternoon. So definitely be aware of that if you're traveling for spring break. A lot of people are leaving tomorrow from the Tallahassee area, and we've got our gusty winds and our hail threat. So if you're seeing any hail, especially while you're driving, be careful, because that is not good to drive in. And here's your future radar. You can see the line of storms out in Mississippi and Alabama by tomorrow morning. This is going to move toward the southeast, and it's going to come through North Florida. It's going to not get much further south than I-4, but north of I-4, you're going to see this line of showers and storms tomorrow afternoon. And our rainfall forecast, your higher totals are going to be north in Alabama, Georgia, but we do have our highest total in Florida, 3/4 of an inch almost in Tallahassee. That could get a little bit of ponding on the roadways, but not too much in the way of flooding. But as we look at tonight's forecast, we're going to be in the 60s across the state, in the 50s as we go to the northern part of the southeast. As we look at tomorrow, we're going to hit 80, 86 degrees in Orlando. This is unseasonably warm weather still ahead of the cold front. But now I'm going to pass things off to Becca to talk about some winter weather.
That's right. We're going to actually completely shift gears. I know I've mentioned how much I love Florida. I love it here, but I'm actually from the Midwest. So I grew up with this type of weather. It is not my favorite. For those of you who are located or have family in the Midwest, so far they are going to be getting some snow this weekend. So looking at current snow totals, there's some lasting snow, but there is more to come. We do have two different winter products out right now. We have a winter storm warning out for Iowa and some parts of Wisconsin, and then the purple is a winter weather advisory. So the warning is a little bit of higher significance, but that doesn't mean that those in the weather advisory shouldn't pay attention. That advisory is stretching all the way from the Midwest, even into some parts of the Mid-Atlantic, going to New Jersey and New York. And this is what we're looking at. This is what's driving those warnings and advisory right now. You can see the purples and whites, that is snowfall, and then right in Illinois right now, that's where the rain snow line is. So that is where things usually get a little bit dicey, where there is some ice and some wintry mix. So that's where you get your sleet, your freezing rain. That is where there is usually the most cause for concern. So if you happen to be near Chicago, that's going to be pushing its way into the Chicago, Michigan area as we continue, giving a closer look for those closer to home who might be located in Chicago or in the surrounding areas. It's looking like that could be along some of those main interstates, so definitely be weather aware as you're traveling over the next few days. Our future radar, this snow is going to push all the way from the Midwest out into the Atlantic, and it looks like, thankfully, it will remain mostly snow. Right now, there was some of that wintry mix, but it should remain snow as it pushes off to the East Coast. Our snowfall totals to come, we do have quite a bit of snow packed in with this. So we're looking at, I'm from near Detroit actually, 6 inches where I'm from. For those at home, I know a lot of my friends are on spring break right now. They are definitely getting a different taste than what we have here. That seems to be the highest for the Midwest, 7 inches in Milwaukee and 6 across that area. That is what we're looking at for those snow totals. I personally prefer my spring break to look like it is in Florida. So we're going to talk about that actually a little bit later in the segment. So if snow is not your cup of tea, stay tuned and we're going to give you a look at what some of those beaches might be looking like as we get into spring break next week. Aaron's going to continue with this trend. He's going to tell us what the snow might look like for the West Coast, actually.
That's right. So we'll still drink the same tea here because we're going to talk about West Coast snow. And actually, I should say insane West snow here coming up in FSU weather here. But you can see the winter storm warnings are in effect for the Sierra Nevada mountains right now in California, and even all the way up to the Cascades there. So Medford over towards, at least towards eastern Oregon. And then down the coast here, at least in California, we do have the chance for seeing that winter storm, that really a lot of snowfall will be packed here over the next several days or so. And you also have that winter storm advisory as well down over towards inland portions near Death Valley there in California. And we, at least on top of that snowfall threat, we also have that rainfall threat too across much of the West Coast here with that high, or I should say the moderate risk here across the Bay Area in San Francisco down to Salinas into Santa Maria there with a chance for perhaps some flooding rain over the next day or so. And then also that kind of arcs over into the Central Valley here, so into the Sierra Nevada, so Fresno, Modesto, Sacramento, over towards Chico, also running the risk potentially of that flood risk. And then that actually increases tomorrow as we do have the chance for some even higher amounts here, specifically around the Central Valley area here, and then over towards the coast here with Salinas and Santa Maria also staying there with the potential for that flood advisory. And this is the reason why we're actually seeing all that moisture in place here. We have all this deep moisture coming in from the Pacific Ocean, and what that's doing is allowing for all that moisture just to be packed into the mountains there. It rains out there on the mountains, and unfortunately that's where we get the chance for some of that flooding there. And yeah, here it actually shows up nicely on radar there with that little swirl here over the Pacific Northwest, and then bringing all that rainfall here from the Pacific Ocean, that rain, that snow, as it does go to the upper elevations, the mountains there. So you need to watch out. In this current hour right now, we do have that rainfall around the San Francisco Bay Area, also into the Central Valley there. So again, Modesto, over Sacramento, San Francisco, Napa, all those areas are seeing the rainfall, and upwards towards the Cascades is where we see the snowfall occurring right now in California. And for future radar, we'll see that swirl going around there, at least moving into the United States. So we have that rainfall coming through here and training perhaps, which you need to watch out for that. And that's actually the reason why it increases the threat for flooding is that training. When you have one storm or one line of storm after another, bringing rainfall and just constant rainfall across much of the same areas. And then we also have that next system that will perhaps come in on Saturday for the Seattle area. And then again, even into Sunday, we may potentially still see another atmospheric river come through into Northern California there. So again, don't let your guard down. And that rainfall forecast really piles up here with that 3 inches, perhaps 4 inches over to Fresno, and probably some locally higher amounts too. So don't pay attention to the exact numbers. Just know that it is going to be potentially accumulating. And look at that 3D graphics there, really amazing graphics there. But we see the snowfall accumulations there across the Sierra Nevada mountains are going to be really high there. So do watch out if you are heading up and traveling up the mountains. But you know what? We're going to switch gears a bit here. We're actually going to talk about tropical cyclones. Yes, we'll switch it over to the desk.
Yes, thank you, Aaron. We're now going to take a trip internationally. We're going to talk about Tropical Cyclone Freddy, which is about to impact Mozambique again tomorrow and is now the longest-lived tropical cyclone in the southern hemisphere ever.
And that actually isn't even Freddy's only record-breaking actually so far. So Cyclone Freddy has already broken a record for the highest accumulated cyclone energy in history, which was previously held by Cyclone Fantala back in 2016. Now, of course, this cyclone is in the southern hemisphere, rotating clockwise pretty quick over there.
Yeah, it is, and it currently has 70-mile-per-hour winds, and it's going to hit Mozambique as what would be equivalent to a Category 1 hurricane for us. And this is the second time. They already got hit on February 24th, and then the storm looped around and is now going to hit again, and that's why it's been so long-lived. It's been around since February 6th.
So it actually already passed through near the Madagascar, and it's actually kind of trapped between the southeast area of Africa. It's approaching Mozambique as we speak, and we don't even know when it may hit, but it looks like it will be hitting soon. They're already seeming to feel some of the effects of that. As of right now, they're seeing some high wind speeds.
Yeah, and they're definitely going to be seeing a lot of rain too. So if you have family and friends that live internationally in Mozambique, you may want to tell them to stay inside and watch for any flooding, because you don't want to be out and about if you're having flooding rains. So they're going to definitely be experiencing flooding rains getting hit by this cyclone again.
Right, and that cyclone probably will slow down in speed and intensity as time passes through. While it passes through land, land will absorb some of that energy and it will slow down. But as of right now, we're seeing that it's hovering over the coast of Africa right now, increasing in speed as we speak. And hopefully everyone makes it out safe. Definitely keep an eye out and keep a good thought in your mind for all of the people that are down there in that area. Hopefully they're prepared and well informed and ready to brace through this cyclone.
Yeah, they definitely need to be prepared if you're living in that area. I don't know what the terrain is like very much there, but if they have any mountainous terrain especially, because I know some parts of Africa have mountains, they're going to be dealing with mudslides on top of that. So this could be another potential threat for that area.
Right, exactly. And we hope that everyone stays safe in that area.
Yeah, we definitely do. But now we're going to pass things back off to the wall with Becca to take a look at some spring break destination forecasts.
Absolutely. I told you guys I'd be back with some other options if snow is not your thing, and that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at a couple beaches right now. We have 3 of our wonderful Florida beaches. Destin is one of my favorites. Beautiful seas right there. Miami also beautiful. And then Golden, Colorado. If you happen to not like the beach too much, we have plenty of options here for you today. If you happen to be flying out of Tallahassee, we have wonderful weather. No flight delays expected out of Tallahassee. As for our other airports, right now, everything is green. So no flight delays. Again, we don't have too much impact weather going on right at this moment. But of course, as we get into some of those higher snow totals in the West Coast and in the Midwest, we could see some changes for that. For your driving forecast, I know I'll be traveling tomorrow and several of my classmates will as well. We have that rain coming through, and that's going to be going across I-10. So if you happen to be going across I-10 or in the section of I-75 from, say, Atlanta to Tampa, you could definitely experience some rain. We're looking at our highest chances between noon and 3 p.m. For our beach forecast, this is closer to home, Panama City. It will be a little bit brisk out there. It's going to be 76, which isn't too bad. Water 71, but with that wind speed, we're looking 10 to 15 miles per hour. It can be a little bit chilly. We're looking at Tampa right now. They are going to stay fairly warm. Only a small dip as that cold front moves through with a low of 56, but coming right back the next day to 83. Storms on Monday, and they're going to dip a little bit more to 52, and then it cools down. That's actually when the cold front goes through, Monday to Tuesday, my bad. Spring break in Miami isn't going to see as much of an impact. They will have some showers that could be lingering from the cold front on Tuesday, but aside from that, beautiful spring break in Destin. They are going to see the coolness and the storms on Friday and dip down. It's going to be cool there. That's where it's going to be the coolest, but beautiful conditions. Spring break, if you're looking at Aspen, Colorado, it'll be definitely cooler and a different chance. So if that's what you're into, Aspen's a great place to be. And if for our future radar, we are going to have that rain, but that is the only limiting factor for our spring break here in Florida.
And while on the topic of spring break, if you do happen to be going down to the Panhandle over this weekend and these next few days, we're definitely going to see, sorry, the graphics lagging here, but we'll see in a second. We have a few areas. We're looking at Panama City, the Sportsplex, Lake Bradford, and George Island, and we can see those areas here. It seems like they have an overcast of clouds, not any showers as of right now, but there's definitely some clouds out there, a beautiful sunset, and it definitely looks like if you do plan on going out there, you won't be getting sunburned just yet, so you'll have a few days of some clouds before the sun really comes in on full force. As for here in Tallahassee, before you leave tonight in College Town, if you want to hang out with your friends before everyone goes, around 10 o'clock tonight, won't see many showers, but it'll be 64 degrees, dropping down to 62 and 62 again by 2 a.m. when you're heading home, and that cloud cover will stick around. If you're looking to go down to the res over this weekend, starting tomorrow, maybe we'll notice it'll definitely get warmer, but we will see some scattered thunderstorms, some winds coming in 11 miles an hour. So it's possibly a good boating day, unless you don't mind being rained on. Then definitely maybe look into another location for this weekend, possibly even a softball game. FSU is playing Oklahoma State at 7 o'clock over in Oklahoma. So actually, you will not be heading there, I'm assuming, unless you headed out already. But if you do happen to be there in Oklahoma, it's a little cool up there for us Floridians or people that that are used to living here in Florida. 57 dropping down to 50 at 11 o'clock tomorrow at the end of that softball game. If you do plan on sticking around Tallahassee and want to check out the sports, we will have a baseball game tomorrow versus Pittsburgh. 5 o'clock, we will see some showers though, so definitely bring an umbrella. Those showers should slow down by the time the game is ending around 7, and those temperatures will cool down to 68 by tomorrow night. And then softball again on Saturday versus Oklahoma State, again in Oklahoma. If you make it out there by then, it'll be 74 around 3 o'clock, around when the game will start, and then it will cool down just a little bit. Around 7 p.m. it'll hit 73. So it should be pretty nice temperatures there compared to tomorrow. And then for baseball, again on Saturday, it will be 74 and sunny, which will be very nice. Baseball again on Sunday, 77, 20% chance of rain, pretty unlikely, and it will cool down a little bit. And then as for the rest of your weekend, we're seeing some showers coming in tomorrow, but these will clear out by Saturday and Sunday. It should be bright and sunny. Aaron?
Wow, those are refreshing low temperatures there. 50 degrees. We haven't seen that in a long time here in Tallahassee, but that is coming. And also, don't forget to change your clocks this on Saturday evening, as we do have, or actually, I think we're going into daylight savings time here. But anyways, live look back here at Doak Campbell Stadium. We have those cloudy skies that are beginning to filter in the area ahead of that cold front. And what that's going to do is it's going to set the stage up for a pretty dreary night tonight. So not the best time, perhaps, if you're going to go out to or bring a telescope out to look at the stars. Right now it's currently 73 degrees under, I would say probably mostly cloudy skies, but overall still not terrible to walk outside perhaps with that wind out of the south-southwest at 7. So at least for the greater area, we do have those temperatures remaining for the most part in the low to mid 70s, at least around the metro area into southwest Georgia. And also behind me here, at least with Apalachicola there, also a little bit cooler there with that marine influence from the Appalachian Bay at 67 degrees. And don't let this radar fool you here. It is just ground clutter, as we have perhaps some smoke and just other things are up in the atmosphere, not rain. I can assure you that if you step outside. But overall, it remaining a really nice night and dry outside. And as for your week ahead, we're going to stay really nice after that cold front, with perhaps another chance of rain coming up into your Monday. So you need to watch out, and then even cooler temperatures then. But we'll turn things over back to the desk with Becca.
If you're staying in Tallahassee for spring break, I hope you enjoy some of those cooler temperatures, gives you a break from the record-breaking heat we've had locally. If you're navigating or traveling to other places, I hope that you'll also stay safe. I know I myself am a beach person. I'm going to be heading to the Atlantic coast, the east coast of Florida, and enjoying some of the wonderful beaches on the east coast. And I urge all of you, if you are going to a beach, to adhere to local beach flags. I know we've had a plethora of red flag warnings here locally amongst Panama City and Destin. I know those are very popular beaches, and rip currents can be very deceiving. So definitely make sure that you're weather aware as well as adhering to local rules. That's the best way to keep you safe. I hope also if you are going up to the north, I wish you good luck. That's definitely not where I would choose to spend my break, but I know some people have different preferences. We touched a little bit on Aspen. Some people I know are going skiing for breaks, so I also hope that you guys have a great time. Stay safe, stay warm for sure. I will not be jealous while I'm at the beach, but to each their own. For our most recent updates, follow us on Twitter. Of course, we also have our Facebook for FSU Weather. And of course, we have a couple more coming. You can watch us live on YouTube, as you most likely are right now. And we have our Instagram as well, and we actually just started a TikTok too. If you'd like to see a little behind the scenes of FSU Weather, what goes on behind the scenes, some of the people who helped to put this show together, definitely check out our TikTok at FSU Weather. So thank you for joining us tonight. I wish you all a safe and healthy spring break, and Nico's going to close us out with one more look at the 7-day.
Yes, thank you, Becca. As we look at our 7-day, we got our main days of concern being Friday and Monday. We may have some severe weather isolated tomorrow if you're going to be traveling. Stay aware of that. Don't forget to spring forward your clocks on Saturday night. We're going to have some chilly weather in the middle of the week and then potentially warming up with some rain into Thursday. Have a great evening and have a great spring break.